Hi everyone. If you have ever worked on the backend system or the Spring Boot system, you must have noticed the Spring Boot service becomes slow after some time. Okay, so you have probably faced this issue. I personally faced this issue. So most of the time, the first thing come to my mind, maybe it's the Spring Boot, or maybe my code is not efficient. But after working on real production system, I realized that's not the real issue. The real issue is usually the configuration, the DB, network, or the bad designs. So, in this video, I will walk you through the actual reasons why the Spring Boot application became slow. And more importantly, we will learn how to fix those issues. There are many common issues. So let's start with the most common issue. One is slow database queries. So in many cases, our API looks perfectly fine. But when we analyze it properly, we find that the single query is taking more than 2 to 3 seconds. Suppose here I have a query to fetch the open orders, and this query is particularly taking 2.8 seconds, which is quite high, right? The response time here is quite high. So maybe the reason behind the query becomes slow is the query is not optimized, or the index is missing over the table. So this could be the reason why the query is quite slow. And so what we can do to avoid this issue, we have to check our query performance, and we have to use the index properly so that the unnecessary data fetching will be avoided. So if the query is slow, the entire request becomes slow, right? So we have to avoid this mistake. Next is too many service to service calls. So in microservice architecture, it is very common to call multiple services. Suppose let's take an example over here. Here it is 150 milliseconds. The second one is taking 200 milliseconds. The third one is taking 450 milliseconds. So each call adds some latency, right? So and together your response time easily crosses over 800 milliseconds. So the key is here, we have to reduce the unnecessary calls, and we have to combine the data whenever it is possible. The next is blocking code. Now let's talk about the threads. If your application is using blocking operation, your thread spends most of the time in waiting. Suppose the thread 1 is waiting for the DB, the thread 2 is for external API call, the thread 3 is waiting for the file load. So whatever the incoming request, new incoming requests are coming, right? They have to wait in the queue. So that's when your system starts slowing down under the load. So whenever possible, we have to use the non-blocking approaches to optimize our blocking operations. So we can avoid that issue also. The next reason may be the logging. So logging is very much important, that's true. But excessive logging can hurt the performance also. I myself tried. Sometimes when we reduce the unnecessary logs, the improves performance significantly. Okay, so we have to always keep our production logging very minimal, because too many logs, it will increase the extra input output and the noises also. So that also we can do. Next one is connection pool misconfiguration. So if your application depends upon the DB, okay, suppose here is my application threads, okay, here is my DB connection pool, which has a maximum size as a 3. The connection pool, all thread connection pools are busy, right? So when new thread requests are coming, so they are in the wait state, it will create a bottleneck, right? So we have to tune our connection pool based on our traffic and the workload. Another important factor is the payload size. If your API returns large JSON response, it takes time to serialize the transfer over the network and parse over the client side. This increases latency, okay? So we have to always retain only the required data. We have to avoid sending the unnecessary field. Then the next and the final one is the caching. Suppose If you are fetching the same data repeatedly from the DB, we can make use of caching mechanism over there. Suppose I have a 3 system, okay? I am trying to fetch some records from the DB, okay? Second time, what I can do, I can implement the caching. So the last time when I try to fetch the data from the DB, what it will do, instead of fetching the data from the DB, it will hit the cache first, and the cache hits much faster. Okay, so the cache implementation also can improve the performance significantly. So if you want to improve your application performance, here is what we should focus on. We have to optimize our DB queries, and we have to add proper indexing. Then reducing unnecessary API call. We have to combine the data whenever it is possible. Next is we have to tune the connection pool by considering the network size and the load. Next is we have to implement the caching mechanism when we do fetch the query. Then we have to remove the useless logs. We have to use only minimal and meaningful logs for the production. Then the next one is profiling and monitoring. We have to make if this is Spring Boot, we have to make use of Spring Actuator, by which we can monitor each API response time. Then the last one, we have to return the smaller payloads also. So the next time when your service is slow, don't jump to the conclusion. So what do we need to do? We need to take a step back, analyze each layer of our system, because performance issues are usually not in the framework, but in the how the system is designed. So we have to consider all these points when we write a Spring Boot application. Okay, so if you found this video helpful, you want more real world backend concept, so consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you.